So, welcome back. In this session, we're going to have a look at creating a user interface. So, let's first start off with creating a new branch from the development branch. User feature unit interface, that sounds about right. Git pull. And we're going to start off by creating a new class. User interface. Add it, import pygame, which is the user interface. I did my first project in, so that's why I'm using it now. There might be an easier way of making games in Python, but this is what I like to work with. Class user interface. Self. No, that only happens in init, of course. Def init self screen width screen height. That's all for now. Self.screen width. And of course there's already a typo here. Let's fix that. And self.screen height is screen height. Now I also already did a little of a practice run previously, and these are the colors I'd like to use. And we'll just refactor this code, reformat code, much nicer. And the reason I'm putting these at the top is because these are global variables. I don't think they're specific to the user interface, so I'm not going to make it self-thought. And I indicate this by writing them in all caps. So there's a reason they're in all caps. I could also import them from a different file, but I personally find this to be the most attractive way of doing it. Now I think for now the easiest thing to do is to just draw everything. So def draw screen self, and then list space invaders and user players is their name. So first we're going to need a screen like so. And this is going to be self.width, self.height, screen width, screen width. Actually, I don't think we're going to need the screen width for anything other than this, so we can actually reduce it. And I'm going to make the background black because I like night mode. So, and we can actually move this here. So what this does, it fills the entire background of the screen in black. And now I'm going to draw the player. So self rectangle is pygame.rect, and x and y coordinates are going to be given in the format. Yes, there we go. So we'll start off hard coding some stuff, and then later on we'll go back and fix it. So we'll say player dot x position dot y position, and we'll give it a width of 20 and a height of 10. And then we'll say for space invader in list space invaders. Now, of course, we also have to draw it, right? So we say pygame dot draw rect self.screen. I'm gonna make it green for now. And then rectangle. Of course, not a very clear description, so we'll call this player rectangle. We'll call this space invader rectangle is pygame rect space invader dot x position. I think it's called. Let me just check. X coordinate, and then player has it called x position. So let's try and be consistent with that. And we'll refactor this as well. Y coordinate, refactor, rename, x coordinate, and this as well, y coordinate. This way, the player and the space invader both use coordinates and not names, not position. So coordinate, and player y coordinate. Coordinate, space invader, y coordinate, and we're gonna give these 20 by or 15 by 15. That's a good size. And then we're gonna say pygame draw, no, not display, draw rect self.screen. We're gonna make these red space invader rectangle. At the end, we're going to have to flip the screen to show. Let me just copy it from here. Pygame display of flip. And then we'll do it here. From core.user interface import user interface. So space invader list is empty for x coordinate in range 100. Then the x coordinate is x coordinate space invader list dot append space invader, and we're going to say for space invader or space invader list is space invader update position for space invader in space invader list. So this is list comprehension, and what we're doing is for each space invader in the space invader list, we are updating it. We'll actually make this 100 now, and then making that into a new list, which is probably not the fastest way of doing this, but I think it's a clear way of showing what it does right now, and in the future we might come to refactor it. I'm going to say we're going to only run 10 turns, so instead of while game running, we're going to say for underscore in range 10. That's a good amount. And we're going to say user interface is user interface, screen width is 100, screen height is also going to be 100. And I think actually There might be a bug that we'll find out about very soon, but that's okay. User interface dot draw screen. Player is player, and space invaders is space invader list. And actually, let's also rename these so that this is all going to be consistent. And let's also refactor this, rename, okay, cancel. List space invaders, Ctrl R, space invader list by this space invaders, replace all. There we go. Let's see if this works. Oh no, I didn't mean to draw. All that stuff. I can also remove all that. Let's stop this. We can just say U is input. This way we can cycle through the steps. And where did the pygame thing go? Okay, well this is the old one. Okay, something went wrong. Let's have a look. And of course we should always end with pygame quit. Import pygame. Did I miss something here? Test pygame. Oh, of course, pygame init. Right, so each game both starts with an init and ends with a quit. That's important to remember. Okay, so as you can see, there's a couple things here. The first is that our player is all the way at the top of the screen, and we want it to be at the bottom, and our space invaders aren't anywhere to be seen. So let's fix that first. And the reason is that pygame, the very upper left position has coordinates 0, 0, and the bottom is going to have the maximum position. So our screen height is 100. So our player should also have a similar coordinate. And I think at this point you see why it's important not to hardcode anything, because I'm now getting very confused between all these numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our config, and we're going to say screen width is 100, height, actually let's make the width 200, height is 100, player width is 20, height is 10, and we're going to say space invader width is 15, height is 15. And we're going to go to our main. Oh yeah, we also need health. Config health is 100 and lives is 3. And we're going to remove all the hard-coded values. And this should be x coordinate, not x coordinate. This is going to be config player space invader health. X coordinate is going to be the same. Y coordinate will leave the same as well. We should probably also say this, set the speed is 10, speed is 20. Config Space Invader. Speed X to be precise, of course. Config speed X. We're also going to need Y incrementation. It's going to be 10. Space Invader Y incrementation. And actually we'll also say for Y coordinate in range 0, 40, 10. And that's of course also the reason there were no space invaders drawn. 0, this can be screen is config screen width, and this is going to be config screen height and double backslash 2. So it's going to go down half the height because I want it to be an integer here. Otherwise, the range function doesn't work. So I do double backslash here. And I'm going to also replace this Y coordinate. Config player lives. Config player X. No, this one I can leave the same. The Y coordinate I need to say config screen height minus config player height, and we'll say this is going to be config player speed. So now you see a couple things. The first is there's a lot more text on screen suddenly, right? But the other thing you see is that there's nothing anymore, or at least I'm working very hard to remove it. There's almost nothing anymore, which is hard coded into the script at this point. And that makes it very easy for me to fix values later on, because I only have to go into my config and change these values. So that's why I'm doing that. Screen width is going to be config screen width, and I can just start this on the next line. And let's see if this works better. And it says non-type object has no attribute x coordinate. Main space invader list is list space invaders. So there's a bug here. Pygame rect non-type object has no attribute x coordinate. So apparently there's a print list space invaders. Or actually for e in list space invaders print e. Let's just check what we see. these are all non-values. So let's have a look. Apparently, the list Space Invaders is appending a bunch of nuns. What could be the cause of this? So, you see, they are all correct, and then they're all nuns. And the reason for this is that in this list comprehension, update position doesn't return anything, so list Space Invaders becomes a list of all the values returned by the function update position. So let's fix this. We'll say for Space Invader in list Space Invaders Space Invader update position, and we'll just remove this. Say screen width is config screen width. Let's run this, see how that works. And you see there's a big red blob from all the Space Invaders. If I press enter a couple times, that finishes the game. So let's have a look at config and Space Invaders screen number of rows, we'll call this number of rows. We're gonna make 3 rows. Number of columns, we're gonna make 5. We're gonna increase these as well to 500, 300. And then we have to change this here for a sec. So this is gonna be for x coordinate in, and now I think it's easier to actually have a numpy.linspace object. So let's import numpy as np, and here we're gonna say config Space Invaders number of columns. And we're going to do the same for y coordinate in numpy linspace 0 config screen height divided by 2 config Space Invaders number of rows. Let's have a look what this does. And now you see we have 4 rows. That's not the way it's supposed to be. How many Space Invaders objects do we have? If we count this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But we only see 4. So the question is, what causes this? Now let's check if they get updated to a new position. This whole thing doesn't seem to react. Let's well, I think there might be a second video coming on this, trying to fix the screen. But right now I'm kind of curious why our Space Invaders aren't all being shown. I think it may have to do something with it goes from 0 to screen height over 2. That's correct. 0 screen width. I think this should be. We will not include the endpoint. Endpoint is false. and this should fix it. There we go, we have 5. What happened was the Space Invaders were all the way exactly with the left side here on the screen. So we have a screen now, and we have the ability to create a bunch of Space Invaders. In the next video, we're gonna try and get the Space Invaders moving real time and allow us see if we can get that to work. Because right now, if I hit enter, do they move at all? Well, not very happy with this this interaction. So let's see if we can get that working next session. Hope you enjoyed it. Before we finish, we are gonna commit, get status. I think we can add all that. Get commit, and then we say implement first version of user of show position, show static position of Space Invaders and user. So that's all for today. Hope you liked it, and I'll